Some years ago, I took part in a so-called war tribunal organized by Turkish Solidarity Committee. There was a large number of delegates from peace committees from all parts of the world gathered in the meeting hall in the ancient museum of Topkapi. We listened to witnesses from Fallujah, and some horrible pictures were shown on the wall. Children hunted like rats, brutal violence against elderly people. But the strongest impression on me was an old Iraqi woman who told us her feelings when her home was suddenly one night searched by young soldiers with their dirty boots on, sweeping down all their family belongings, portraits and other objects onto the floor. This total ignorance and lack of respect for the culture of this private house, all acted out in the name of democracy, was terrible and painful to listen to. It is just these private values, the intimate sphere, that poetry protects and defends. That is why big words such as democracy and right and wrong are difficult to use in poetry. Poetry, like peace, is mostly spelled with small letters. It is the details that count, in life as well as in poetry. We are all invaded by languages, voices, and powerful commercial messages in our everyday life. Those in power control the loudspeakers, TV, and newspapers. We are indeed targets, but that is not the same as victims. We can all, if we really try, resist, and in this fight, poetry is always on our side. Poetry is perhaps not broadcasted like TV shows, but its impact might be greater. The most effective way of communication is always what we have in common in our ordinary lives and deepest in our minds. You remember the so-called kitchen revolution in Eastern Europe after 1989, when the war in Berlin fought. In Czechoslovakia and in East Germany, ordinary people were sitting in the kitchen talking about the false politicians and their misuse of words and power. It was not the soldiers and the police that won that fight. They had weapons, guns and lorries, but they had not the credibility of the people. In less than 3 months, the former dissident Václav Havel, dramatist and writer, became president of his country. Sometimes words are stronger and more resistible than steel. Truth is what counts in the long run. The poet may stand alone on the heart of earth, but in reality, he is not alone. He stands as a tree in a forest of friends. When you read a poem, when the poem talks to you, you not only read it, but you also write it in the same way. I think it was Ezra Pound that once said that poetry are news that never gets old. Poetry is always here and now, and we can all share it together. Thank you very much for your attention.
At least a couple of his poems that he thinks fit for the occasion from his latest book, at least one of the latest ones published in Pakistan by the Pakistan Academy of Letters. And the title of the book is The Charioteer in Delphi. Am I right, Mr. Kurman?
Yes, you are right.
All right. So I invite you to read these poems here at the rostrum so that everybody can listen to you.
I got this book 1 hour ago. It's printed here by the Academy. So I have not really oriented myself in it, but it's fantastic to see it. And it is not only an English version you have, it's also in Urdu and Punjabi. It's fantastic for a Swedish poet suddenly to be read, or at least there's a possibility to read a Swedish poet in all these languages. This is a victory, really, for not only for me, but for poetry itself. I will read you some few poems here to show how I'm thinking. And you heard already one poem that was, let's say, sort of political statement, how I regard, but I have the different ones. And I have one that I call my mirror image. You know, you stand before a mirror and you look at yourself. Is that really me? So, my mirror and my mirror image and myself do not agree. My mirror image is inflated and fat. I myself maintain my weight within some few pounds or so. My mirror image clowns around, swaggering like a red-jeweled preacher. I myself keep my intellect well in hand. My mirror image is cowardly and quick to compromise. I myself do not bend 1 inch and hold hard line on my integrity. So, question is, who am I? My mirror image or myself? Who has me reflected in such an odd way? Wow. It's my first time I read it. Yeah. So, then I have another kind of poem. It's called The Dream. My dream, my deep wish. I think every poet's dream and deep wish is that you are reading this way into poem, way down into the language, in the secret-filled region where words are born. We become conscious of the scarcely audible murmur from the wellspring within us. If you do, and if you don't deny yourself, you are entering into an alliance with the inner part of poetry, which is to dare to name and hold on what is ungraspable. Then something remarkable occurs. The more you withdraw, the realer you become. Okay, we go one more. It's a little bit risky to read a book that you haven't read. I have this. Yes, well, I do, but let's see here. The birds